Okay, this is the Lowa Mountain GTX boot. It looks very similar to the Lowa Combat GTX, which you hear a lot about, and also the Lowa Patrol, and they are essentially the same with only a few differences between them. I've had the chance to use these for my last few shifts, and they are absolutely brilliant. I've never come across a better made boot. So if you don't want to listen to the rest of the review and you just want to know an answer as to whether these are good, yes, they are brilliant. I'll quickly explain the differences between the three models. The Lowa Mountain GTX and the Lowa Patrol are 8-inch boots. The Lowa Combat GTX is a 10-inch boot. That's just the height from the sole to the top of the boot. 10-inch is just generally used by the military because it gives better ankle support for carrying heavy loads like they do with their Bergens. If you're not doing that kind of role, I would suggest not getting the Combat GTX because it will just reduce your manoeuvrability. The Mountain GTX is almost identical, it's just the height and the sole is a little bit different. As for the difference between the Mountain GTX and the Patrol, they are both 8-inch boots. The main difference is that the Mountain is a Gore-Tex lining and it is waterproof, whereas the Patrol boot is just a water-resistant lining. Gore-Tex is known for being breathable, but it is only breathable compared to other waterproof linings. If you compare it to a non-waterproof boot, the non-waterproof boot will be much better. So don't get a waterproof boot unless you have to, because they will be hotter during the summer. But if you're in a rural force, county force, dog handler, doing music festivals, event staff, you will need a waterproof boot, just because you'll be experiencing muddy fields and whatnot. If you're in an urban force, you're a doorman, a security guard, retail guard, you don't need a waterproof boot. Just get a water-resistant boot, and the Patrol is excellent. It is almost identical to this. The only other difference being that with these you can attach crampons to them if you wanted to. But like I said at the beginning, I've never come across a better made boot. It's triple stitched in some places, quadruple stitched in others. It is a little bit more rigid than some other boots, and it took a little bit longer to break in. But generally those that break in easily will also break apart easily. No side zip, but a good set of laces, not too long, not too short. Fast eyelets to do it up, and a really good sole on it. On the Mountain, as you can see, it's got a nice cleat designed for off-road use. Obviously not a 4x4 off-road use, but you know what I mean, not walking on tarmac and stuff like that. Feature I really like on the Lowa, they've got this kind of 1-inch band which goes all the way around the edge of the boot, which you can see there, and over the toe as well, and it just helps prevent the everyday scuff marks and the damage you do to your leather when you're walking around. So that really helps keep them in good nick. Also, you might have noticed on some cheaper boots, they quite often split along here, and the top of the boot will come away from the sole. So this just helps keep it together. I know people that have had these boots for 4 years, and they are still going strong. They, held it up, and that is really something to boast about. Because a lot of boots, if you've ever had Magnums, I'm sure you'll know, you'll be talking about months rather than years that they last for you. So, in summary, this is an amazing boot. I've really liked wearing it. The heel is a bit tall, but when has there ever been a downside? Just make sure you get the right model from the range depending on what you're doing. If you're in the military and you're carrying really heavy loads like Bergens, get the Combat GTX. If you're in an area where you will be needing a waterproof boot, you heard my spiel earlier, get the Mountain GTX, it is brilliant. If you're in an urban area, just get the Lowa Patrol. They're all basically the same price, and they're all made with exactly the same high quality. Of note, they also come in half sizes, and the sizing is spot on. Previously in boots I've had to go up a bit just to make sure I get a good fit. With these, I've got an 11.5 here, I'm in 11.5, it's not too big, it's not too small, it is spot on. So definite thumbs up, and I would totally recommend these. Available from Patrol Store, patrolstore.co.uk, check it out.